Hello and welcome to another session of the Freelance Masterclass. I remain your host and trainer, Natu Pius Marchalino. And today we will be dealing with the first of the Google Workspace application, okay? Particularly, we're looking at the Google account, okay? This is not necessarily a Google application per se, but it can be considered to be the back end of your entire Google account, okay? This is where you control everything that pertains to your Google account, and that is why it is called the Google back end or the Google dashboard or the Google account back end or whatever it is you want to call it as it may suit you. So to navigate to where I am currently on my screen, simply head over to your Google search option. If you're on a PC, at the right top side here, or the top right end here, you will find this nine dots. A click on it will give you a drop down of various products, apps that are developed by Google company. And the first on that list is the account. So once I click on the account, it will automatically bring me over to some interface as similar to these that you can see on my screen. So what we'll be looking at here is the different things that we can control at the back end of our dashboard. Okay, so the first thing on this left hand side of my screen here is the home, and the home here exposes what you may have selected as your dashboard or things that you have or features that you have access to on your Google dashboard. So basically you have access to your profile picture, okay, your name. You are told welcome by this message at the top here stating that you are protected by two-step verification. We shall be in a brief moment we shall be looking at in a brief moment we shall be looking at exactly how to secure our account with a two-step verification. Okay, so further down, you also see other things, privacy and personalization, the security thieves that would help you secure your account. We also have privacy checkup and other things, okay, that enables you to have control over your Google account. So having said that, other things that we'll be seeing are personal information. This is basically where everything that you filled in when you were opening a Google account will be shown to you, okay, like a review per se. We have data and privacy, we have security, people and sharing payments and subscriptions, and lastly, about. Okay, so we touch it on some of these things in very brief moments so that we would see exactly what each of these categories have for us. Okay, so we are presently on the home category. I wouldn't be saying much on the home category because what we are seeing under the home category is just at the tip of an iceberg as compared to what you'll be seeing in other categories. So these other categories actually are some features from these categories are what you have on this home category. So rather than spend so much time on home category, let's just jump right into the personal info. Okay, so a click on that will take us straight into what we filled out when we were giving out our data on the sign up page of Google. All right. So when you are signing up a new account on Google, which is done by opening a Gmail account, all right, the information you supplied is what you would basically see at this interface or on this interface that you are presently. Okay, so personal information comprised of your basic information, your photo. This is basically where you can change your picture. Okay, a click on this would automatically give you access to be able to change your profile picture. You see that. So if I want to change this profile picture, I simply click on change, and then it asks me to choose a picture that fits. Okay, either from my computer storage device, or if you're using a mobile phone, to automatically take you to your drive. Okay, that is your mobile drive or your memory card drive. All right. So this is basically how you can change your picture, and I encourage everybody to have a picture put up. It's very important, especially as a freelancer. All right. So having said that, I also want you to look at the next thing here, which is the name. This is where I strictly recommend that the I understand that Gmail is free to sign up. Okay, so many people have series of Gmail accounts, okay, that they use for different purposes. But there is always one Gmail account that you would keep specifically for formal or business purposes, okay? So you want to make sure that that particular Gmail account that you are going to be using as a freelancer has your name, your legal name written out boldly on it, okay? Do not use nicknames. Do not use names that people know you by. Rather, use your legal name. Okay, don't use nicknames or things that people call you. Just your friends call you. Okay, just use your legal name so that it would help you, because most of the time when you will be signing up on multiple platforms, for instance, you're signing up on LinkedIn, you're signing up on Coursera, and so on and so forth. Once you use the option sign in or sign up with Google account, it will automatically populate your name, rather, sorry, it will populate your name given the name that you already supplied here. And if it is a platform that will issue you a certificate, it is the name that you have on this Gmail account that will automatically appear on your certificate. And in most cases, you may not be able to change that name once the certificate is issued. So you want to make sure that your Gmail, which you use for business purposes, has your legal name boldly written on it. If it is not so, you can click on this and go ahead to change the name the way you want it to appear. Okay, your name in full. You can use different formats of your choice. You can click on this button here to edit the name. Okay, and then you supply the name the way it should be. Preferably your first name and your other name should go together, and then your last name. Your last name is always your surname. Okay, so your first name and your second name or your middle name should go together if that is how it is on your legal document. Okay, but if you don't have a middle name in your legal document, you can just forget about the middle name and just use your first name and your last name, and that is more than okay to set you up professionally. All right, so having said that, we return to the previous page where we were to see exactly what other things that we could do. So we have looked at how we could change our profile picture or put up a new profile picture if we don't have any. We also looked at how we could change our name so that it bears our legal name. Of course, we have our date of birth. This is not necessarily compulsory, okay? But you could want to put in the original date of birth for personal use. And then the gender, preferably use your gender. If you're a male or a female, select that. Okay, and then here we have contact information. Contact information, these are the information which you supplied. Remember, when you if you had actually opened your Gmail account yourself, you would have come across where you were asked, do you want to put in a recovery email or a second email, so that when you lose access to this particular email, you could retrieve it through another email that you have supplied as an alternative email. So that is where you supply this information. Okay, you can always use multiple emails by which or with which you could retrieve your original email account if you lose access to it. Okay, so that said, you also have phone numbers here. All right, under the phone number section, you want to put in your phone number. Now, this is where I would love to say a little more. Okay, now this was inspired by an encounter I had with one of my clients. All right. We understand that the country where you are determines the access or the Google access that you are given. All right. So different country have their different limitations as far as Google product or Google access is concerned. A typical example is one time when I was working with an international client, and there was need to download an app from Play Store. Okay, there was need to download an app from Play Store. Unfortunately, I searched and searched Play Store for that application and I could not find it. It was after a couple of research I discovered that that particular application was not easily accessible to Nigerians. What do I mean? Because you registered your Google account as a Nigerian. And how do you know that you registered your Google account as a Nigerian? When you are putting in your information from the beginning, you signed up and chose your country to be Nigeria, and then you put in your phone number to be a Nigerian phone number. When you do that, Google automatically, classifies you as a Nigerian. So they will only introduce to you products that are accessible to Nigerians alone. If there are restrictions that Nigerians encounter to products on Google, you will not be able to access such product. A typical example is the Amazon Kindle. Okay, there is a Kindle application which enables you to read free articles on Amazon, okay, just by the virtue of you having it. But unfortunately, you cannot access that product even on Google. You cannot download Amazon Kindle on Google if your Gmail was signed in with your Nigerian identity. Okay, so eventually I was able to discover this and then I opened a fresh Gmail altogether with my international number, okay, and which is this. This is not a Gmail, mind you. Okay, this is my international number. That is a US number, and within the course of this training, we'll talk about how we can actually get an international number. So just stick to the end of the training. Now, when I signed up a new Gmail account, I had to start the process all anew. I chose a new country, which was US, and then I used this my international phone number to register that new Gmail account. And at the end of the registration process, I used that same new account to sign into my Play Store because I'm using an Android device, a Samsung device. And when I signed into my Play Store, I went and searched for that same application. Lo and behold, the application came up on Play Store. And then I came to understand fully that we are actually limited, okay, as Nigerians. Other countries experience similar things, okay, but it varies according to countries. All right. So you may not get full access, even though Google gives you free features or free access to their applications. There are still some applications that you may not get access to. The same thing also applies to YouTube. You may want to search up some videos on YouTube and you are told that this video is not accessible to your region or to your country. It is simple because your region, which is Nigeria, is not given access to the video. But if you registered your YouTube account with a Gmail that is registered with an international identity, you would understand that you would actually have access to those videos. Okay, so this is what you need to understand, especially when you're registering your Gmail anew, okay, or creating a new Google account. So here we put in our phone numbers, okay, whether it's a Nigerian phone number or international phone number, it doesn't matter. But note that whatever identity with which you used to open your Gmail account from the beginning stays the same. Okay, you cannot change it eventually because Google will automatically stamp you as that person who has identified with that particular country. So make sure that when you're opening your Gmail account from scratch, which we'll be doing in some videos to come, um, you want to make sure that you are intentional about your nationality. Okay, it's not about lying from the country you came from, but for business purposes, you understand the limitations that your country opposes to you. So you always have to look for means to bypass all these limitations. So other things that you would find under your personal information, these are profiles. Okay, when we talk about profiles, we're talking about your profile under Google account. Okay, so some of you will find just one profile here. In my case, there are two profiles. Why is it so? Because one is my Google Gmail account, okay, or basically my Google account. But the other profile you're seeing here is my YouTube account. Okay, you remember YouTube is owned by Google. However, you have a YouTube channel created are new, like you are using a fresh account altogether, not entirely fresh. Okay, so your YouTube account is tied to your Google account, But when you're creating a channel, you have the privilege of creating a fresh profile. So in my case, I used this profile called Tech Explorers to open a Google or a YouTube channel for myself. And that's why you're seeing two different profiles here. Okay, but it doesn't matter if you want to use your name as your YouTube profile, feel free. Okay, that said, other things that you may be seeing here are other informations like password. When you may want to change your password, I'll still show you exactly where you can change your password. You can look at your language settings and other things that may be of interest to you. So other things down here are not so important as what you already have at the top here. So these are the basic things that you want to pay close attention to and ensure that they are accurately filled. If yours is not accurately filled, you may want to go over to your Google account and make the corrections. So that is all we need to know about the personal information. The next is data and privacy. Under data and privacy, this is basically the data that Google has collected over time with your interaction with their platform. As you interact with your Google account daily, Google saves some information that you save on their platform. Okay, so everything that concerns what you have saved, how you have navigated Google, different Google applications, this is basically where you'll find them. The first is a privacy checkup. You may want to conduct a privacy checkup to be sure that your account is still safe. Okay. Other things you find here are things you have done and places you have been to. For those of you that use Google Map and you have saved a particular location, this is where you find them. Okay. You also find information that you can share with others. Okay. You click on that, it will take you to the place where you can either share your profile information, the kind of information. For those of you who don't want to share your date of birth in full, maybe you want to hide the year of your birth, you only want to show the date and the month of your birth. Okay, you could do all that here. All right, so we go back to the top, and these are basically the categories that you find in this section. Data from applications and services that you have used. If you have saved your password on a particular Google product, okay, sometimes you open a website and then you put in username and password, and Google asks you, do you want to save this password? You click on yes, save. Automatically Google helps you to save that password to your Google account. So this is where you get to see all those things that you have saved over time and other options that may be available for use. So here is where you'll be seeing those things that we just talked about. Talking about the things you have done and places you have been to. This is the first category. You can see history settings, webs and application, activity, location history, YouTube history, and so on and so forth. Okay. So you also want to look at your ad set. These are for advertisers, so I don't want to spend much time on that. You also want to look at other things like information you can share with others. Okay, this is where you can edit your profile information and then your location sharing as well. All right, other things down here are things that are not so important per se, but they are necessary that you know them, okay, for your own good. So at your own free time, you may want to come down here and play around all these things to see what you may get out of them. So that said, let us look at the other important category, which is security. Security is very key, and it is very key because you need to secure your Google account. Why? Because anybody that can access your Google account can basically access everything that you have used with your Google account. If you have opened your Facebook account with your Gmail account, the person can access it from your Google account. If you have opened your Instagram account, all the social media that you have, all the social media accounts you have, if they were opened with your Google account, okay, the person who has access to your Google account basically has access to everything. If your credit card is tied to your Google account, the person can actually use it to purchase anything online. So that is why it is very important that you secure your Google account. And where to do that is your security category. So under your security category, you want to scroll down to see how you could secure your account, beginning with recent security activity. Okay, you want to check out the things that has been done security wise on your account to be sure that they were things that you did yourself. So here you can see that the recent security activity here is that Windows was giving account access. I did that on May 8th. Okay. So if I didn't do that, I may want to review my security activity to be sure that somebody is not using the same account with me elsewhere. All right. Here you can check out security tips that may help you secure your account. All right. But I wouldn't want to do that. This is basically where you want to manage your sign in process or sign in details. This is where you can basically change your password. Okay, here it's telling you that your last I basically last changed my password on the 28th day of April. Okay, so occasionally you may want to change your password just to be sure that somebody else does not have access to it, or if you feel nobody does, then you could just leave it the way it is. All right, always choose a strong password, not your phone number, not your date of birth, but people could always guess that. Preferably, you want to use a mixture of alphabet and numbers. I call them alphanumeric keywords. Okay, you could also use symbols. All right, so use a capital letter, small letter, a mixture of that. Use numbers and use symbols. Okay, together they should form a strong password for you so that people cannot always access your account. Now the next thing is the two-step verification. This is the most secured and reliable way to secure your account. Make sure that your two-step verification is done. We will not be doing that in this particular training. Hopefully, I'll create another video entirely to teach you exactly how to do that. But ensure that you go through this process. It's an easy process that you can do. Just click on this, it will take you through the process of how you could secure your Gmail account with two-step verification. All right. Also, if there are applications where you have saved your password on, this is where you get to see how those passwords have been saved on the application. So this is exactly how Google will verify you. Okay, whenever you're trying to sign up or sign into your Google account, Google will ask you, do you want to be verified by a text message? Okay, so if you have chosen a recovery phone number to be used to verify you whenever you sign into a new device, then Google will ask, should we send you a text message or a code or make a phone call to that number that you have filled in so that we can verify that you are the same person trying to log into a new device. Okay, so you want to make sure that you put in your original number. All right, your original number. Also make sure that your recovery email is set in the case where you misplace your mobile phone and you cannot retrieve the SIM card. Okay, so that you don't lose your account entirely. Always have a recovery email set, and then you also have a security question set up. Okay, these processes help you to secure your account very well. Okay, further down, you get to see the devices that are presently logged into your Google account. In this case, you can see I have 4 sessions on Windows computer, okay, and I have 3 sessions on Android, okay. So what this simply means is that my Google account is open in a particular Android device, which is this, and on a particular system or PC using these browsers. Okay, so these are basically how you know exactly who is into your account. If it is something that you sense to be suspicious, you want to review it by clicking on it and logging out from that device. Okay, now on this third party application, these are applications that you have given you access to your Google account, probably because when you were opening those accounts or when you're signing up on those applications newly, you clicked on sign in or sign up with Google account. Automatically, it will ask you, do you want to grant Google access to this application? You click on yes, it signs you in as a Google user, okay, and creates a fresh account for you on that platform, okay. So in this case, you can see this is Zoom, this is Camtasia, which is what I'm using to record this video presently. This is Facebook, okay, and so on, so many other applications that I have given access with to use my Google account. Okay, so scrolling further down, you get to see other things that may interest you. Okay, but basically, this is the most that you need to know about as far as security is concerned. So you may want to change your password, just go straight to password, and you want to check out other things just to help you secure your account properly. So that said, let us look at other things that may be of little importance, okay? Not so important, but they may be helpful on our freelance journey. Okay, so people are sharing. These are the people that I have linked their account, their Google account, to my own account. We'll explain this in more details when we want to talk about Gmail account. Okay, so any account that is tied to your account, you get to see them here. This is mine, okay, and this is my niece's account. All right, it's not advisable that you open a Google account for your children that are under 18 with a Google account that is meant for 18 years and above. There are Google accounts that are meant for children, okay, and I'll explain more on that when we talk about that in another video where we'll be dealing with Google Mail account, okay. So stick to that video to learn more about that. This is where you get to see your contacts. Every contact that you have saved on your Google Drive or on your Google Contact would always appear here. And then further down, you see location sharing. This talks about your Google Map. If there are locations that you have saved on your Google Map, you'll find them there. These are where you choose what others see about you. Okay, you can hide details about you. You may want to you may want people to only see your first name and not see your last name, or whatever it is. You want them to see just the date and the month of your birth, but not the year of your birth. You can also hide that here and do other things with these features. These are business features, and these are share recommendations in adverts. These are for advertisers. Okay, so if you're not an advertiser, you don't have nothing to do with that. So that said, let's look at the last but not the least here, which is payments and subscriptions. Okay, this is where you want to be very, very careful in tying your credit card, whether your ATM card or your barter card or whatever card that you use for purchase on Google. You want to make sure that they are really secure, because any card that you tie to your Google account and you save it on your Google account would always appear here. Okay, and any purchase that you have made as far as Google account is concerned will always appear here. All right. So just as you can see in this case, this is the purchase I made when I bought my international number. Okay, so I made this purchase on this date, okay, and it will be renewed rather on this date. I made a purchase on January 5th, 2022, and this is the next time I'll be renewing it. Okay, so any purchase you make directly with your Google account will be available for you here so that you can always review it. The same thing applies if somebody has bought anything with your Google account, you also see it right here. So other things, if there are reservations that you want to make with your Google account and you pay directly via your Google account, you also see them here. So at your own free time, I would encourage that everybody play around this feature so that you could gain complete control over your Google account. So this is where we're going to hold it for now. In our next videos, we shall be talking about other Google applications that will enhance our journey as a freelancer. Until then, see you in the next video.